Alrighty, what is up, everyone? What night are we on? 4, 5? I don't even remember anymore. It's just been the ride. I hope you guys have enjoyed the stream earlier today. Obviously, Final Fantasy 16 got an announcement, so kind of reacting to that earlier today. Hope you guys were able to make it. If not, then yeah, Final Fantasy 16. It was pretty cool to see, and looks like they're going back to a darker Type 0 tone with medieval setting like 1 through 6, 1 through 5, and yeah, I'm just really excited to see what we'll make up of it. With that said, we are here for Muv-Luv Alternative, and before we go ahead and dive too far into it tonight, I kind of want to go ahead and talk about something that I'm going to be doing on tomorrow. So, a little bit of a spoiler. I kind of wanted to leave the surprise for tomorrow, but, you know, I figured I might as well drop it now because I might post the results of it on Twitter later tonight. But I got a DM this morning from one of the people who have been watching the stream, so thank you so much for the support. And he had said, you know, you should really do a face cam for it. You should really do a face cam for chapters 7 through 10, and you know, just because it's really cool to see people's reactions, and it's funny. You know, the guy was basically like a huge fan. So he also wanted me to go ahead and do something that is a little bit something that I didn't even know could be done. I'm not really big in the Twitch community or YouTube. But starting tomorrow, I am going to be having my heart rate as a widget on the stream. So on the bottom right of the screen, you will be able to see my heart rate throughout the entirety of reading all of the the cool arcs, if you will. So yeah, expect that to be up tomorrow. I had to go ahead and buy a little bit of extra stuff. I had to buy an actual heart rate monitor, and it works perfect, right? Like I got it all working. It's just I had to charge it. So I want to go ahead and give you a few analytics just to give you an idea. So I went for a 5-mile run today, and I was wearing the heart monitor the entire time. My average resting heart rate is at 71 BPM. When I am jogging, it goes up to about 125 to 132, and when I sprint, it goes up to 160. I doubt that anything will happen above 130. If it goes up to 130, like that's the equivalent of me reading something that's so freaking crazy that it's like I'm sprinting. So I don't think that'll happen. But just to give you guys an idea, I'll try and work everything after I go ahead and finish up the stream tonight. So if anything too exciting does start happening, don't be surprised maybe if I end the stream just a little bit early. And the only reason is because it's never been done before. So thank you so much to the person who DM'd me, just because it's such a cool idea. And considering that it's never been done before, I want to try and maximize that out as long as possible. And it's a good idea too for all my other streams. When I do the Final Fantasy Super Boss series, for example, it'll be cool for you guys to see my heart rate go up to freaking 300 when I'm fighting against Osmo or Penance or whatever. So last night, back to actual story now. Last night, big timeline change happened because we didn't go save the old lady in the volcano arc, and as a result of which, the IGF came in, used tranquilizers on the old people, and the U.S. may or may not have then funded a coup in which the military leader of the operation goes postal, goes straight up to the new capital, and I think it's either Kyoto or Tokyo. I don't remember if they moved it back or not, and killed the prime minister, which is Sakaki's dad. Kind of sad. And they may or may not need reinforcements. So we are sitting around here waiting if we're going to be deployed, to which Takaru, our guy, has definitely become a little depressed, realizing that here he is about to be deployed for the first time, but he's not fighting against aliens. He's going to be fighting against, you know, humanity. So I think that's a pretty good synopsis of what happened yesterday, and let's continue on. So, time is just dragging on and on today. It feels like the whole base is just tense and motionless. The Shogun still hasn't sanctioned the coup. The IJA units surrounding the base also haven't moved. The Americans are also acting like they now own this base. It's just killing me. I've got other stuff to be doing right now, but here I'm stuck doing nothing. It's not like we're even doing something productive. We're sitting around here wasting time. Why'd you have to drag us into your stupid little rebellion? The fate of mankind's on the line here, you idiots. The rest of the squad took this really hard too. Our first real battle might be against other people, and I think we're all equally upset about that. We've been training to fight the beta, not our own kind. I'm sure everyone else has to be worried about their families as well. I mean, for better or for worse, I've got no one in this world to be concerned about. But imagine if Sumiko or my parents were here, I wouldn't be able to hold it together. Maya is worried about the Shogun, obviously. I mean, understandable, they're related. And even though we're all members of the UN military here, the others are just as Japanese. They may not be as worried as Maya is, but it just makes sense that they'd be anxious about the Shogun as well. I'm pretty sure class reps got it the hardest though. I mean, for God's sake, her dad was just murdered. And everyone's trying to be as considerate as possible to that. The tougher she tries to act, the harder it is for them to talk to her. She said she wanted to distract herself by sticking to her normal routine. But when we're sitting around here like this, I'm sure she can't help but dwell on it. Huh? Come to think of it, where'd she even run off to? She was just here a couple seconds ago. Maybe it got to be too much for her? You know, I probably should do something. This probably isn't the time to just wait and see what happens. I'll start by looking for her. Alrighty then. What's up? Oh, nothing. I just realized a couple of squad mates are missing. Well, the instructor summoned Yoroi to the hangar. Ah, right. But if you are looking for Sakaki, she's over there. She's just staring out the window. Doesn't look like she's even looking at anything in particular. And Ayamine's over there. She's up on the balcony gazing up at the sky, also perfectly still, which is pretty much par for the course, but after what happened yesterday, it is kind of concerning. I think it's because of that letter. It had no postmark, no stamp, and judging from the content, it wasn't a love letter, that's for sure. And there's and then there's that stuff she said about how she's gonna have to kill me. Oh, is it deployment? Is it deployment? Everyone assemble in the hangar. Class rep Makoto? You can't mean deployment gang. Nothing burger. Dang it! They just need help adjusting the fire control system. What's wrong with them? Don't they just autocorrect anyway? Yeah, but I guess the settings on the new OS for when it's accessing our personal data are too precise. It's causing the autocorrect to overcompensate pretty badly. Guess that was an unexpected side effect. It sounds like something we could fix by adjusting the OS itself, but we don't really have that kind of time. Understood. Talk about bad timing. I was just about to go talk to the class rep. Alright, quit daydreaming and come on. Oh right, it says the girl who was just staring off into space at the window. Well, at least this means that she has something to do now, and that's probably for the best. Go get Ayamine while you're at it. You got it. You go on ahead. Ayamine.
Nani?
What? We're supposed to go to the hangar. Come on, let's go.
Nani?
What? I just told you, they need us in the hangar. We have to manually adjust our fire control systems. Come on, you've been acting really weird. Get your act together. My act? You sure you're okay? Are you hung up about that letter? Trust me, you don't want to know. If you don't want me to ask, could you at least pretend you're not upset? I highly doubt you're this shaken up about the Shogun being in danger. It's got something to do with that letter, right? No. Weren't you just bragging about being a good liar yesterday? Well, you're pretty transparent today. Ayamine, we're squad mates. You know we have to trust each other with our lives. I can trust you to have my back, right? Give me a real answer. Can I depend on you or not? Would you even believe me if I said yes? Of course I would. Would you? What? What does that even mean? I can't lie. I mean, I am vaguely suspicious of Ayamine. I don't know if she's like a secret agent or what. Maybe she planted that letter specifically for me to read it. But what I do know is that there is something she's not telling me. And since I apparently suck at lying, I bet she could already tell what I'm thinking. So I'll come out and say it. Alright, I'll be straight up. I'm concerned you might be mixed in with some sort of conspiracy, maybe taking part of a conspiracy. It was the envelope from yesterday that got me suspicious. It was marked as inspected even though it had never been opened, and it was neither stamped nor postmarked. But before we talk any more about that, there's something else I need to apologize for, which also has to do with the letter. I'm sorry. Yesterday, after I picked up the letter, I tried to bring it back to your room. You didn't answer when I knocked, but I assumed you were just ignoring me, so I opened the door. You went in my room? I did, and I'm sorry, and I saw all the other envelopes lined up on your desk. I didn't open them, but I just felt something suspicious. So I started getting all these crazy ideas. Maybe you are a spy, maybe you dropped it on purpose, maybe you're being stalked. And then you said you'd have to kill me if I knew what they meant, which I just added more fuel to the fire. I've been doing everything I can to save humanity from destruction, and I'm going to keep on doing so. But there seems to be a lot of people out there who think their own personal problems are more important than the survival of mankind. Those are the ones stirring up conflict. It's thanks to people like them that all the training we've done to fight against the beta might be used against our fellow man. I think of that a lot of time. They're the types of people who can't trust others, and the last thing I want to be is anything like them. So, if you tell me I could go ahead and depend on you, right here, right now, I trust you. And yeah, I know I've been suspicious of you lately and that I owe you an apology for some of the things I did too. So I understand if you can't forgive me. Hell, I wouldn't blame you if you hated me. But I do want to trust you, and I want you to trust me as well. So, if you tell me I could depend on you, I'll leave it at that. I'll take you for your word. Could my approach have backfired? Well, either way, it's still a relief to just lay down on the line and not have to beat around the bush. Read this. Huh? Whoa, wasn't expecting that. This is the same letter from yesterday? I'm still carrying it around, I see. Oh, what are you getting at? Oh, sorry about that, dog. You're saying I'll understand everything if I just read this? This is a letter that gave me cause to suspect her. The last time I skimmed it, it was unintelligible. I saw like a couple of words. They set off some alarm bells. What does she want me to do with it? Just read it. Okay, I'll try. And the season, the biting, will grow stronger with each passing day. Out loud. Sorry? Out loud. Fine. Assuming I can. In this season, the biting chill grows stronger with each passing day. What's a winter solstice? It's this December. Oh, okay. The winter solstice prognosticates the coming snow. As I gaze out from the frozen landscape, I feel indomitable. Indomitable as a steadfast pine. Yet whether in prose or verse, it seems my words are ever ineffective. For striking though the eventide spectrums may be as they drape over the distant peaks, such majesty is lost on those content to remain purblind? Right. Though, as I know you are wise beyond your years, surely you must have good cause to avert your gaze. This is hopeless, not like I could ever decipher this nonsense. I have no idea what this is saying. It's saying no matter how many letters he writes, it doesn't matter if I don't read them and try to understand what's going on. So, is he telling you off? Though the next sentence says he's sure she has her reasons. Pretty much. I've never replied or even read one of them, for that matter. You didn't read a single one of those letters in your room? Why not? Because I knew I'd never be able to understand them. You just understood this one fine. Keep going. As Confucius says, it is only in the cold of winter that the pine and cypress will be known as evergreen. It is with these words in my mind that we gather here, towering like the evergreens, over-withered clovers resolved to weather the storm. We shall wipe away the lingering regrets of he who has wept for his land and for his people. I ask only that you bear witness to the righteous fury that burns in our hearts. This shall be my final letter. For you, I only wish the most unfathomably radiant future. Tsushima Shuji. I'm done. I finished. The name's wrong at the end. Oh, what? How do you pronounce it? That name is Sagari Noya. What? The ringleader? Oh, shoot! He's the one who sent me that. But that's not what it says here. It says Tsushima Shuji. Look again. What? The character he used in Towering isn't normal one. You could use it for a noun, not a verb. I didn't know. He who wept is my dad.
萩の季節かくのごとくでAyamine収穫
Towering evergreens over clovers? Those characters spell out my dad's name of Shukaku. I get it now. Shukaku's reading shu as clover, kaku as tower, so he used the same shu in Tsushumi Shuji. Chief Yoroi mentioned Ayamine's dad this morning, but I never thought about how this was written. You do know about my dad, don't you? Yeah, I do. The tragedy at Gwangju is pretty famous. People said he was a coward, he abandoned his comrades, it's their fault he lost. I remember hearing that Ayamine's dad was an army general who resisted for desertion. Arrested for desertion, sorry about that. He was in my dad's squad. Sagiri Noya? Why would this guy send you all these to you and just risk exposing his own plan? Because he respects my dad. And he was like a son to my dad. I've heard a story a lot like this one before, but where? You've heard this in Extra, my son. You've heard this in Extra. When I was younger, he came over to our house a lot, but that's not enough reason to risk exposing all of his comrades in the coup, is it? It could never be worth that. He's always been a principled person. When my dad was convicted and in prison, he had no choice but to watch in silence, and he still hates himself to this day for it. So, wait, what would a guy with a background be placed into Capital Guard regiment to begin with? He was injured before the Battle of Gwangju and had to be discharged. Is the military really that sloppy? I don't know, but he's a sharp operator. So he pretended to have nothing to do with Gwangju, evaded his investigation, and then got assigned to the Capital Guards regiment after things quiet down? There's no way the IGF is that dumb. No, there's insider help. And considering he chose the Capital Guard, a coup was in his plan from the start. Don't tell me. America, what if they pulled strings? I'm still ashamed of what my dad did. Desertion under fire is inexcusable. She said that in the previous timeline too. It was his fault. She lost everything. I've been getting a lot of visitors lately though, huh? People from Koshin who said that they fought their lives under my dad, and he saved them. Those would be the ones handing me those letters, so that's how. Using Koshin agents would be much safer than sending them directly through the IJF or through the UN. Ayamine did nothing wrong. Huh? They say he did nothing wrong but was prioritizing the protection and evacuation of the local civilians, but the military decided he'd ignored a direct order to move elsewhere. I see. If that's what happened, I could see where Sagiri was coming from in his announcement speech. The most... this song always plays at the most... just... excellence. This song just bleeds excellence. People should do what they can for their country, and the country should do what it can for its people. I've heard those words also in Unlimited. Dad used to say that a lot. Ah, that must be it. She told me this in the last timeline. He let me down a lot, but I will still live by those words. Yeah. The thing is, though, is I don't know who was right about him. It could be the military, and it could be these people who keep visiting me. So I'm done with all of it. I don't want letters of other people's regrets. Which is why I don't open them, which is why I don't read them. When you got that much emotional baggage, the last thing you want is a constant deluge of letters reminding you about it. I couldn't even imagine how hard that is for her. Although I can definitely relate to someone who has regrets about something that they were powerless to stop. In the previous time, I had to just sit there and watch the world go to hell. Okay, I get the gist, but that still doesn't make sense. Why did he take the risk of sending them to you? Are there any other reasons you could think of?
父さんは
My dad
父さんはあの人と私を
wanted me to marry Sagari. What? I was right about them being lovers, or like an arranged marriage thing. What's going on? I'm on the verge of remembering something extra! Did Ayamine have a boyfriend back in my world?
あの人はまっすぐな人だったから
He's always been a principled person. I
私
see.
の同意が欲しかったのかそれとも巻き込まれないように警告した
Maybe he wanted my approval, or maybe he was trying to warn me so I wouldn't get involved. It all makes sense.
もっと早く読めばよかった
I should have read them sooner. Huh?
おとといその手紙を届けに来た人がこれが最後だって言ってたから
The day before yesterday, the person told me it'd be the last one. But... So that's why he sent his last letters after all the preparations were done. Even if Ayamine told someone about his plans, he would have put them into an action long before an investigation can get underway. That's probably why he sent it. From what Chief Yoroi said at the end of last month, the Imperial Ministry of Intelligence had their eyes on this strategic studies group. It's possible they rushed their plans out of fear they were about to get caught, and he just sent out that letter at the last minute.
もっと早く読んでいれば
If only I'd read them sooner. But why didn't the Ministry of Intelligence warn the military?
少なくとも死ななかったかもしれない
Then nobody would have had to have died.
あの人が手をかけた人た
All those
ち
people he killed. The man who started all of this. Assassinating the own Prime Minister. In other words, the man who murdered Class Rep's father also did so in the name of Ayamine's. Whether or not they're actually engaged, Sagari Inoya and Ayamine are not casual acquaintances. This is terrible.
もう手遅れ
It's too late now. Well, yeah, but that doesn't make any of this your own fault. Even if you would have reported that letter, the coup would have been broken out before they finished investigating. Not to mention that the UN forces aren't held to the highest regard here. Even if we could have determined the letters were real, getting the IJF to believe us would have been a whole entirely different story. From the way Yuko was talking with the commander and undersecretary in the command center, I could tell just how touchy relations between them are. Captain Sagri took that into
ど
account.
うかな
I'm not so sure about that. Ayamine, what are you playing at? Are you just gonna let your regrets fester up in you like he did, and instead just seek revenge after the fact? Are you gonna blame yourself for the death of your squad mate's father for the rest of your
こ
life?
れが白金の知りたいことの全部
And that's everything you needed to know.
満足
Happy? Happy? What do you mean happy? Hey, why did you tell me so much? Just so that way I'd stop being on you? Or does she begin to trust me?
さっきの白金の質問
A few minutes ago you asked if you could depend on me.
今って言っても白金は私を信じる
After all you just heard, would you still believe me if I said yes? Of course.
じゃあ約束守って
Okay, then you keep your promise too.
うんって言うから
Because the answer is yes. She must be now I promise I just leave it at that. I will not pry anymore. Maiden, honestly, she's told me quite a bit already. It's impressive considering how shaken up she has to be. In exchange, though, can you do something for me?
何
What? Don't tell anyone about this. At this point, it would just make the situation even more complicated. I don't want to waste time rehashing stuff that's already in the past. Alright, this is between you and I, right?
あやみね、たける
Oh, I totally forgot. We'll be right...
調整は後だ。すぐにブリーフィングルームに集合だ。
Oh, shoot. No way. We've been summoned to the briefing room.
わからん。榊たちは直接向かった。急げ
Quickly, now, here we go. Oh, yeah.
国連軍の軍事的支援を仙台臨時政府が正式に受け入れた。
The provisional government in Sendai has officially accepted UN military aid.
玉瀬事務次官と臨時政府の全権特使との会談の結果だ。約10分前に公式発表された。
This agreement was reached by Undersecretary Tamase and a provisional government representative. It was officially announced 10 minutes ago.
臨時政府が受け入れに際し絶対条件としているのは殿下の安全と保護だ。
Yes,
今後
deployment!
展開される全作戦の最優先事項になる。
Alright, Takeru, go out there and dab on him. You've been absolutely just owning everyone in the training arc. Now it's your time to go out there and dab. Fortnite dance on them, Takeru, my son. Now that the provisional government has accepted our assistance, Her Highness's safety and well-being must be ensured at all costs. This will be the top priority in the upcoming operation.
クーデター軍はこの政府の決定を 殿下の御心をないがしろにする逆賊と国連に加担する売国土の凶暴だと激しく非難している。
The coup forces have harshly criticized the decision, calling the government traitors who sully Her Highness's name by selling out to the UN. Now they're taking advantage of the situation by forcing the government to help them protect the shogun. Screw these guys. You think you can walk over everyone just because you got the UN behind you? This is going all the way the Americans and all 5 supporters want it to. No more flashback stuff. I wonder how many people on this base ever even realize the full implication of what was just said. If it keeps up, humanity's just going to feel more animosity towards one another, and in the end... Oh yeah, battle map! I hope you guys are excited as I am. The 7th Fleet, which had already been camped out in Sagami Bay, was en route to the Tokyo Bay. The US's 132nd Tactical Armored Battalion, which has made landfall, is set to soon be at the capital. Okay. I can piece together what that means. If it weren't for the rebels, the UN and the US wouldn't have an excuse to stick their nose in Japanese affairs. They're the ones who went out of their way to dig this up. It could have stayed a government secret. Whatever. We take care of the rebellion, move on. No more wasted time. People will have to die, though. But if that's what we have to do to control the situation, then so be it. I'm just sick of it already. Let's get this over with. Our base's 1st Tactical Armored Battalion and 5th Air Support Group have been deployed. 4th, 5th Tactical Armored Battalions and 2nd Air Support Group are preparing for this deployment. Look how close the hive is. In addition, the 3rd Tactical Armored Defense Battalion will be deployed to the secondary defense line since the withdrawal of the Imperial forces have left it vulnerable. All other units are to remain on standby. So we'll be defending the base. I feel sorry for soldiers who are out there, but we are just lucky. Never mind, nothing burger. Furthermore, the 3rd Tactical Armored Battalion is rescheduled to deploy in 1940. Our squad will be deployed at the same time and tasked with the rear guard duties. Oh! Well, yes! We're actually getting deployed! It's only rear guard though, nothing burger. Well, maybe something burger. Our deployment was ruled a necessity due to the significance of the mission, the strength of the forces involved, and numerous other factors. A necessity? What the hell are we, a bunch of cadets, gonna do out there? Is this one of Yuko's schemes? Alright, Squad 207. Our mission will be to defend Togashima Fortress. The area of the operation will be on the southeastern shore of Lake Ashi. In Hakone. I'm pretty sure that's like right by Mount Fuji. The opposite direction of the capital then. Wait. Isn't Togashima like the Shogun's summer home? That might be nice at least. Safe enough. The place used to be under invaded control, so it's probably in ruins now. There's no reason to just to deploy real soldiers out in the middle of nowhere. Guess this means that this isn't, maybe this isn't some Yuko scheme after all. Well, that means we'll be with Tsukiyomi then. IRG-19 Independent Guard flight stationed there at Yokohama will be accompanying you. Yep. Tsukiyomi in the game. Well, it is their mission to protect Meiya, so it makes sense, and I'm sure they won't mind guarding a piece of Shogun's property. Keep in mind that we're a squad of Japanese citizens from a United Nations base where US troops are stationed. The IJF might not take kindly. The region surrounding the operational area is currently all owned by the IJA. They may taunt, just don't take the bait. So sit back, take it. Not to mention, if they find out we're cadets, oh man, we're not going to be taken seriously. Maybe not a walk in the park then. Also, considering the situation around Her Highness, it's unclear. Many of the Imperial soldiers will understandably be agitated. Foreshadowing. Question. In the event that they actually do use force to intimidate us, will we be allowed to defend ourselves? You really think they're gonna attack us? Come on. Nice paranoia. The plan was agreed upon by the UN and the provisional government, but it's unsanctioned by Her Highness. The Imperial forces may consider us to be the aggressor. Aggressors? Seriously? Do they really hate the UN and US that much? Class Rep is more acquainted with the Imperial side of things than I am, though. She's probably got more insight into how they're going to react. The US may have forced their way into this, but this is still a UN operation conceived in accordance with proper protocol. They should be well aware of what will happen if they interfere. As fellow Japanese citizens, let's trust them to use their heads. This must be really hard on you. It's pretty obvious your father was a key player in getting the UN involved to begin with, and I'd imagine some people in Japan don't appreciate that. Probably most of them. I'll continue with an outline of the planned routes. At 1940, we'll travel north along the National Highway 16 and Type 87 maintenance trailers, then along the Tokyo-Nagoya Expressway towards Ebina City. This incident is really personal. Makoto, Ayamine, Class Rep, Meiya, Tama... We'll rendezvous with an Imperial supply unit from Atsugi base at the old Emina parking area, and after we've resupplied, we're going to follow the old Odawara-Atsugi highway down to the ruins of Odawara City. Makoto's dad is pulling strings behind the scenes, Ayamine's fiancé rebelled and then killed the Class Rep's dad, Tama's dad's now dragged the UN into this, and the Shogun, Meiya's relative, is in danger. All units will use the old Odawara West interchange at their resupply point. Once we've all been outfitted with Type C equipment, we'll be ready to move out. We then continue along New Hakane Road. Everyone here is at least partially aware how Meiya, Tama, and Class Rep are involved. This is going to be uncomfortable. For now, Ayamine is suffering in silence about her connection to Sagari, but I imagine that'll change once more information comes to light. I don't think anybody knows about what Makoto's dad has been doing, though. Unlike the Prime Minister or the Undersecretary, intelligence agents tend to stay under the radar if they're doing their jobs right. That's a silver lining, then. Just how much does Makoto know, though? Finally, in the event that the situation evolves into actual combat, I will command you directly from my TSF. My call sign is 00. Huh? We're going to split into 2 fire teams, and I will also command the support vehicles. It's an unusual arrangement, but we don't have much of a choice. But yeah, Marima was on the front lines before she came up to this base. Of course, she could pilot TSF. Duh. Well, sweet. Having a commander with some actual combat experience might be nice. Sakaki will lead Fire Team Alpha with Ayamine and Yoroi. Mitsurugi will lead Fire Team Bravo, Tomase, and Shirogane. Not really sure our team arrangements are going to make that much of a difference. I'll just go with it. You are to finish adjusting your fire control system within the next half hour, then form up in the hangar. That is all. So we're finally getting some action, eh? Looks like it. I just never thought we'd have to go up against our own. Yeah, not to disrespect the guys on the front lines, but I'm just glad we're guarding the rear. As cadets, it's probably will be the most useful. Hey, by the way... What's up? I ran into your dad earlier. He wanted me to give you this souvenir. Really?
本当に父さんが来てたの？
My dad was on the base? Yeah, twice actually, but I forgot to tell you the first time. Sorry.
別にいいよ。そうか。そうだったんだ。これどこで？
It's okay, but that's interesting. Why are you delivering this though? I just happened to bump into him on the way to Yuko's office this morning. I can't tell him the truth, or her the truth.
そうか。
I see. What gives? I thought she'd be delighted.
はい。
Here. What? You don't want it?
それ僕は同じもの持ってるから。多分タケルへのお土産なんじゃない？
I already have one of those. He probably meant for you to have it. You think?
相変わらずだな。気まぐれでつかみどころのない。
He hasn't changed. Always zany and unpredictable. You're one to talk, so why does she seem so down? Maybe she knows what her dad's been up to. So, what does your dad do for a living?
役所の下請け会社で働いていて、しょっちゅう外国を飛び回ってるよ。
He works for a government subcontractor, so he's always out of the country on business. Wow. So even Makoto doesn't know his true identity. I probably never should have mentioned it at all.
人でさ、すぐ危険な場所に飛び込んでいっちゃうんだ。
He's a real loose cannon, actually. He always dives headfirst into all sorts of dangerous situations. Huh?
それで周りの人も危険な目に遭わせちゃうんだよね。本当困った人だよ。
Which, of course, puts the people around him in danger, too. He's a real handful, let me tell you. So, maybe she does know?
だからタケルも巻き込まれないように気をつけてね。
Make sure he doesn't get you mixed up in anything, okay? I'll be fine. Besides, I'm sure he can get us out of any sticky situation. Seems to have an uncanny knack for that kind of
け
thing.
どね、変にロマンチストだからそれしか見えなくなっちゃう時があるんだよ。
Yeah, but he's also a bit of a romantic at heart. That could definitely impair his judgment. I guess the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. That sounds just like Makoto.
さあ、早く調整済ませないと。特に K さんとタケルはさっきサボってたからね。
Anyway, we've got to finish up these adjustments, especially you and Kay, since you two skipped out on it earlier. You're right. I can't tell whether she knows about her dad, or otherwise she'd just be worried. In times like these, I can't imagine anyone not being at least a little worried, especially after hearing what happened to class rep's dad. 00 over to 01 and 02.
先行した威力偵察部隊の報告によると、作戦区域に敵影なしとのことだ。
Reports from the reconnaissance team show no sign of hostiles within the operational area. Not surprising. The rebels have their hands full as is. They can't afford to send troops out here.
予定通り、屏風山を抜け、旧関所跡まで前進。
We shall be proceeding as planned, over Mount Byobu to the ruins of the old barrier station.
東ヶ島半島を速やかに確保の後、AB 各分隊は所定の位置にて。私は支援車両とともに旧関所跡に指揮所を設営する。
After seeing the Tugashima Peninsula, Alpha and Bravo teams will move into their assigned position. Myself and the support vehicles will circle back to the old barrier station and set up command
なお、
posts.
偵察情報は更新ごとに各自データリンクにて確認せよ。以上。
Also, everyone check your data links for the latest surveillance information. 00 out.
丸1、了解。
01 copy.
丸2、了解。
02 copy. Nobody said a word since we last left the base. Maybe the tension started to set in that they're all coming to terms that we just might actually die. I've never fought Beta, but after 2 years of deployment following Alternative 5's implementation, I'm well antiquated with the feeling. In any case, these guys might be a bit nervous right now, but I doubt they don't have resolve. Of course, I imagine they'd be way more comfortable risking their lives fighting the Beta than going up against other humans. And more than anything else, we're probably hung up on the fact that everyone's families are somehow connected to such an ugly situation. It's like we're walking on eggshells, trying to be extra considerate of one another. I know that's the way people respond to things like this, but we're in the middle of an operation. We can't afford to be clamming up on each other like this. Hey guys, did you know that Hakone is famous for hot springs? Marimo said that too. Or should have heard that. No response. Maybe she could tell what I'm trying to do, so she's letting it slide? Once the mission's over, we could just relax in one, huh? It'd be nice if we had the time. You know, maybe I'm being insensitive considering what class rep's going through, but this is the only way I can think to clear the air. Sounds good, right? Hell, we could all take a dip together if you guys aren't too embarrassed. Hot springs. I still remember when we all went to one back in my world. 03 to 06, keep it quiet. This is 06. Hey, you're not dead after all. Hey, cut it out. I'm hanging up now. I'm surprised Class Sharp wasn't the first to respond. I thought she was gonna chew me out. Just goes to show how out of sorts everyone is right now.
007各機
0-0 to all units in 207. Oh, I knew I took it too
先ほど
far.
帝都で戦闘が始まった
Fighting has broken out in the capital. They actually went and did
未
it.
確認ではあるが帝都城を包囲していた歩兵部隊の一部がこの軍部隊に向け発砲したことが発端らしい
This is still unconfirmed, but apparently it started when a few infantry soldiers from the rebels opened fire upon the royal guard. Infantry soldiers? Using small arms?
それに対しこの軍第2連隊が全力で応戦
The Imperial Royal Guard's 2nd Regiment has responded with full force.
シャギリ隊員の戦闘停止声明も発表されたが混乱は収拾できていない
Sagri ordered a ceasefire but could not maintain control. This is insane. What the hell is Sagri even doing? He can't even control his own troops?
先発した第一戦術機構大隊はアメリカ第117戦術機構大隊とともに品川埠頭に強襲上陸を敢行
Our 1st Tactical Armored Battalion and the US 117 Tactical Armored Battalion are landing an assault force at Shinagawa Pier. They're currently engaging enemy
ま
forces.
た帝国軍の討伐部隊が埼玉県境から帝都に侵攻を開始
The IJ's punitive forces have begun invading the capital from Saitama Prefecture. It took one foot soldier, one idiot who couldn't handle the pressure, and now everything's gone bad. The Shogun wasn't acknowledging them no matter how long they waited, and the more that time passed, the closer the IJA and the UN troops came to launching a counteroffensive. I can't understand why this might get a little antsy. But if you're rebelling for the sake of the Shogun and the people, just deal with
だ
it.
が我々の任務内容に変更はない各機通信機をオープンで固定予定に従い A 班 B 班に分かれ任務を続行せよ以上
However, our mission has not changed, so keep your channels open. We move as separate teams to continue the mission. 0-0 out.
丸1了解
0-1 copy.
丸2了解
0-2 copy. I'm such an idiot. I thought everything would be resolved in no time once the UN got involved and the Imperial Army marshaled enough forces to help tip the scale. But now there's actually a war because of one stupid foot soldier. False flag. Calling it now. It started to uh-oh. Snow's always a bad sign, lads. I don't remember that happening before Christmas Eve. I guess we're at a higher altitude. It probably did snow and I just didn't realize it. So quiet here. Can't believe there's even people killing each other in the capital. We can't hear muzzle flashes, or sorry, we can't see muzzle flashes, we can't hear gunshots. It's hard to imagine there's even a rebellion going on at all.
とうとう降ってきたな
So snow has begun. Sure enough. Maya looks fine, but she has to be worried sick about the fighting. I'm kind of shocked these buildings are so perfectly intact considering this used to be beta territory. Maya? Indeed. I've only seen Maya this despondent one time before. Back when Mount Tegan erupted. But she seemed much more on edge back then. Right now it's like her mind's just somewhere else.
ベータの支配地域は自然が根こそぎやられるというのにこの辺りの山間部はなぜか手つかずだったらしい
Land previously occupied by the Beta is said to be thoroughly bereft of nature, and yet it seems that these mountainous regions are entirely untouched. Mount Tengen was like that too. All the trees and houses were left intact, even though it was once Beta territory. Found that odd, so I remember doing a little bit of research, and then I found the two greatest mysteries involving the Beta invasion of Japan. The invasion began when Beta surfaced at Kitakishu around the Sanin region. They proceeded along the western coast up to Niigata, while the others close to Chubu and to Atami on the eastern coast, and then they headed due north into Yokohama. The first mystery is that for some reason, when the Beta got to Yokohama, they turned all the way to the Maira Peninsula. It's the only reason why the capital is still here. And the second was that they left far less destruction in their wake as they made their way east across the mountains of Chubu. I remember one theory that the invasion was simply slowed down by the terrain?
タケルこんな話を知っているか
Tucker, have you ever heard stories about this place? Stories?
ベータの本州侵攻の際帝国軍が多摩川より東に撤退した後もこの東ヶ島城にはこの軍第24連隊が踏みとどまったのだ
When the Beta invaded the mainland, they say right after the Imperial forces retreated east over the Tama River, the Royal Guard's 24th Regiment held their ground here. What, they stood and fought? That must be one heck of a team. They must have been completely cut off from any supply lines, no hope for reinforcements. They were gonna die guarding this
この軍
fortress.
第24連隊は京都で救助警護を担当していた第3連隊の生き残りを中心に再編された部隊だったからな
The Royal Guard's 24th Regiment was comprised of survivors from the 3rd Regiment who had been guarding the Imperial Palace in Kyoto. That makes a lot of sense. They couldn't bear to see another Imperial palace
本
destroyed.
州が奪回されるまでの数ヶ月間、幸いにも小規模な戦闘が数回発生したのみだったそうだ。
They were fortunate enough to only have to survive a number of small-scale battles here during the months before the mainland was
こ
retaken.
の城が健在である影にはそういった話もある。
That's one tell as to why this fortress is still there. Months. I can't imagine they had enough ammo to last them that long, or food.
だが、いかにこの絵軍が将軍の守護をその任としているとはいえ、離れ城を守るためだけに踏みとどまるとは。
However, even under the pretense of it being to show to their devotion to the shogun, it's difficult to believe they would endure a siege simply to protect an auxiliary fortress. I could not imagine Her Highness to wish them to do such a thing, exactly. But I digress. Apologies. You digress. You're not fooling anyone. The story about a bunch of overzealous soldiers doing something the shogun would have never wanted out of loyalty, it's a little on the nose. Hey, good timing though. I had something I wanted to say as well. Oh, there's something I wanted to ask about as well. What are you... You're using an encrypted channel during an operation? This is prohibited. Yeah, says the girl who did the same thing in the previous timeline. I'm not beating around the bush, so I'm gonna cut to the chase. Then what is it? Maybe I'm jumping to conclusions here, but you can at least sympathize with the rebels, can't you? What makes you think that? Well, there was the stuff you said yesterday morning. It gave me the same vibe as what Captain Sagari's speech, obviously not as extreme. In broad terms, yeah, I could indeed understand the principles that motivated their uprising. Right, and like I said in the PX, I could see where they're coming from too, but it doesn't mean I support them. I know. Hell, a few years ago I wouldn't even happen to comprehend it, but something happened to me a while back I think that helped appreciate their way of thinking. Though I suppose it is you who helped me understand it, albeit in the previous timeline. But even so, I don't think I'll ever understand how people can start picking fights with one another when the survival of the human race is at stake. Sure, a lot of stuff Ayamine was talking about made complete sense, and I could also understand what Maya was saying. But if they knew how horrible the future that awaits us, like I do, they would change the tune. I saw that dawn of Alternative 5, and the people left behind to fight a hopeless losing battle. Who knows if the migrant fleet even made it to the other planet? None of them in the future do none of them know the future like I do. Can I ask you something then? Yeah, what's up? What are you fighting for? To change the future? Not like I could tell her that. Even if I did, I don't think she'd understand. Maya doesn't know about mankind's impending doom, nor does anyone else. This is why I needed to talk to her. I need to figure out why these people choose to fight one another. And in doing so, hopefully I can make them understand. Because I don't want to lose the beta. I want to win. That's all. So you prioritize humanity's victory above all else. Yeah, what about it? I don't know. It's such an interesting question, right? And I think that this arc is actually going to try and explain that, at least in part, as to why they're fighting each other, especially considering that there's a threat much larger than humanity at stake. As said this morning, though we do share a common enemy, we are different. We have different values and different methodologies. The end result is all that matters to you, but many others don't feel the same. I understand that, but how could anything be more important to Japan or to humanity as a team than defeating the beta? See, this is my take right now. You can speak with such conviction, especially for one unable to answer Tsukiyomi's questions. Yeah, no, exactly. I wholeheartedly agree. Because I was under that firm belief that the only way humanity would ever unite completely would be that if an outside force stronger than humanity appeared. And this is kind of going against what I believe in, so I'm interested to see how it will go. Talker, do you know how long mankind has been at war with the beta? Like 25 years. It is as you say. We all wish for an end to this war and for humanity to emerge victorious. I know. But that's not our reality. Time flows ever onward and the odds are stacked against us. I mean, things got a little better after we retook the mainland, didn't they? We had to use G-bombs. Still a landmark victory. That's Operation Lucifer. Sir, but living conditions along the general populace are on the decline.
徴兵年齢は引き下げられ、今へ男女の区別
Yeah, but you kind of don't have a choice, Maya. People are being forced from their homes into internment, malnutrition runs rampant, the conscription age has been lowered, and men and women alike are being sent into battle.
今後も環境はさらに厳しくなっていくであろう。しかも出口は未だ見えないのだ。
There's no turning point in sight, and if anything, conditions are likely to continue deteriorating.
だが、その現状をただ嘆くのではなく、自らの力で変えていこうと考える者も。
But there are many who refuse to give in to despair, many who doggedly seek out to overturn the bleak future that's been laid out for
どこか
them.
の誰かの明日のため、民の心にある日本という国を守るために、命を投げ出すことも厭わない者たちば
None
か
of
り
them
だ。
would hesitate to lay down their lives in the name of Japan and the fathers they once knew, or to give their countrymen a brighter future. This came up when I argued with class rep about orders being absolute, and Maya mentioned it again when we were back in Mount Tengen. She's probably right. The Japanese people of this world, especially the ones that I've met, have the same spirit of self-sacrifice in the name of ideals. It's something that develops naturally in dire times, but I sure as hell didn't feel anything like that from the average person in my own world. Granted, I wasn't exactly a shining example of selflessness, and I didn't even know until these guys pointed it out to me. You do the same then, I take it. But this only makes me more confused as to why they're so willing to fight other humans. Maya.
そうだ。命など
Correct.
欲しくはない。
I don't hold my life so dear as some do.
死という現実に恐れを抱かぬわけではないがな。
But that doesn't mean I'm unafraid of death. I'm glad to hear that. I know they're not trying to get themselves killed. If we didn't have the will to live, we wouldn't even stand a chance against the beta. But Marimo told me that when you have no choice but to die, you should at least try and find the least shameful way to go out. She also says it's okay to be a coward if it means you make it out alive. That would make more people saved in the end.
敗戦。アメリカの反属国家政策。
First, it was us losing the war, then all the treaties that makes us dependent on
在日
America.
アメリカ軍という名の占領軍による国土の蹂躙。
Then their armed forces infringing upon our homeland under the pretext of defense.
冷戦。そしてベータの襲来。
The Cold War, the beta.
アメリカ軍の撤退。軍の敗走。
They then withdrew their troops, our military
あなたの
routed.
生命を国土の半分以上を失ったあの時。
Dang, global police force. We lost thousands upon thousands of lives and over half of our land.
未曾有の国難に際し、日本人を強行に向かわせなかったものは何か。そなたにもわかろう。
And yet, despite such unprecedented hardship, something that's always prevented the Japanese people from living in fear. You feel it too, then.
人々の心の中に
Or you
国
must
があ
feel
り
it too.
国と共に人があったからだ。
Our country lives with the heart of its people because the country has always stood
そして
alongside them.
将軍家が心の礎として民と共にあったからだ。
And the House of the Shogun has always been the pillar of strength that supported that country. It's not like it's all the way back in my world, but yeah, it's just the way things are here, no doubt about it. In the Japan I knew, that sort of thinking was like right-wing, nationalistic, warmongering. But for the Japanese people of this world, the Shogun is an unshakable source of strength. I guess it just boils down to patriotism, but still, I think stuff like that can be pretty dangerous in times like these.
ベータに敗北し、本州奪還に国連軍の力を借りざるを得なかったことが政府を変えてしまった。
And yet, when the beta defeated us, we had no choice but to request the aid of the UN military. It changed our government forever. But if we still got their help, would there even be a Japan?
おそらくな。
Nope. Yeah, so I think some amount of change is to be expected. Indeed. Especially when you consider this as a problem for all mankind, not just us. I mean, what makes them any worse than us?
善悪で語るべきことではない。ただ、
I can't cast moral judgment on others, but what I'm saying...
本州を奪還し、国連とのさらなる関係強化が国の基本政策となって以降。
Ever since we retook the mainland, once again Operation Lucifer, and revised our national policies in the interest of strengthening the relations with the
手段
UN,
が目的を凌駕することが日常化し、政府や軍は本来あるべき姿を見失っているように見える。
it has become standard practice to use excessive methods to achieve our goals, and our government and military are losing sight of what they were meant to
政
be.
府は民をないがしろにし、将軍家を傀儡に貶めた。己の都合や利益のみを考える輩が国を蝕んでいるのだ。
Our government cares not for its people and treats the shogun as a puppet. Those who value not but their own interests are eating away at our own
そ
country.
こから民を、将軍家を、そして国を救い出そうというのが彼ら決起部隊の考えだ。
The rebel forces most likely believe that this will save their people, their country, the shogun. So you're saying it's our strong ties to the UN that are eating away at our own country?
そう考える者がクーデターを起こしたということだ。
I am saying that the people who started this coup feel that way, but what do you think
今の
personally?
帝国政府のありさま、この国にとって良いものではないと思っている。
In its current state, the Imperial government is not acting in the best interest of the nation. I must be stupid. Why am I asking a question when I know the answer? Everything she's said and done since the Mount Tengen incident and the last time has made it pretty clear where she stands. It's not just that she could sympathize with them, it's plain that her views are closely aligned with Captain Sagiri's. But no matter how many times we have this conversation, it goes in circles. She says the same thing, and I don't understand why preventing humanity's extinction is not the world's top priority. Maybe I'm just not from this world, I don't understand it. Or maybe I don't have a sense of patriotism like them. Okay, if humanity loses and we're completely wiped out, you know that there's no more Japan. Nothing. You realize this? Yes. I can't imagine the Shogun will want the people of Japan to prioritize the interests of their nation to the point where wasting valuable time and resources like this. The fact of the matter is that this little rebellion is taking a needless toll on the country. Not just Japan, all of humanity. But we're not the only ones. America and the UN are both preoccupied with their stupid power struggles too. They're already planning their post-world domination strategy and there might not even be a world left to conquer. Even the support for the individual alternative projects hold each other back. Meanwhile, the Beta, a group of multiple different species with seemingly no common ancestor, are coming at us in a single unified body. But us, we can't even get a single species to come together. Our nationalities and ethnicities may vary, but we're human. How the hell are we supposed to win like this? Once the Beta wipe us off the face of the earth, it's not going to matter whether we're Japanese or American. There won't be a human race left. That's the fate that awaits us if we all can't get together. And sure, maybe these guys out there really do have this, and they believe this rebellion is in our country's best interest. But is that a good enough reason to put us all, humanity, at risk? What the hell does the rest of the world care about our government? I want to defend my country just as much as they do, but if there's no point in saving Japan if the world gets wiped. I recognize that. So no one can protect themselves all on their own. So why can't saving Japan go hand in hand with saving humanity? Stop it, I get it, you made your point. I too am distressed by all this. At times I feel I can no longer distinguish right from wrong. I do recognize that the military's pragmatic approach has benefits though. Exactly, there's no such thing as a solution that satisfies everyone. We don't have that luxury in this world. If you're feeling too conflicted, then you can go. We're not with the Imperials, we're with the UN. If you can't think your priorities in order, go home. I'm not trying to be a meanie head, but I just don't understand the logic here. Shouldn't we put an end to the Beta War before we could do anything else? Can't the petty infighting wait till we've got the planet back? If you do not understand, then you have no right to condemn. Oh, give me a break. This is pointless and you... Enough. I will not tolerate any more of this, not even from you. So she's at a breaking point, huh? Then there's no point in thinking about it anymore. I really screwed that up. I wanted to try and hear her out, but instead I just talked down. But no matter what anyone says, I'm going to do whatever it takes to prevent humanity's destruction. That's the one point on which we're not going to be swayed. I'm not trying to attack you. It's fine, we both lost our temper. But I want to say one thing, which is, as far as I'm concerned, it doesn't matter whether we see eye to eye on this. My top priority is victory for all mankind. And that means I won't just let Japan die. That's all. Sorry for dumping all that on you. I'll close this now. What's up? You are very strong. Me? Oh please, you're feeling mixed up. You're projecting your compassion for the Shogun and the people onto the rebel forces. And you're caught between your sympathy for the people and your duties as a UN soldier, and I get it. No, you misunderstand. It's not a matter of how I feel. What? But when I think of all the pain she's being forced to bear alone right now, What? Who's her? Class rep? Even just in paltry gesture, I want to stand in solidarity with her. Maya, hey! I've said too much. I don't understand. What? Finish what you were saying. Don't leave me hanging, it's awkward. Whoever it is that's being forced to bear their pain alone, I still don't see how any reason to be conflicted about all this. It doesn't make me any stronger than... Oh, hey Tama, what's up? It's almost like she was waiting for my conversation with Mei to end. She couldn't have heard us, right? It's time for a regular check-in. No, there's no way. It probably has to do with the Shogun. Nothing to report. Same, nothing here. Yep, she's not doing so hot either. Her dad's involvement with all this has put her in a pretty touchy position. I shouldn't expect her to be totally on the ball right now. Bye then. Hey. What? Your dad's doing the best he possibly can to help Japan. Oh, yeah. And in the grand scheme of things, there's nothing wrong with calling the UN forces to help resolve the situation, especially if it'll help us get back to the real battle against the beta. I know, but no one's blaming you or your dad, you know? What happened to Class Rep's dad was a tragedy, and there's nothing we could have done. But Mitsurugi, oh, come on, you think Meia's the type to let her emotions cloud judgment? We're all UN soldiers here. Don't feel guilty about anything. Hell, be proud of all the hard work your dad puts in for the UN. Oh, misclick. You hear me? How am I supposed to keep my chin up when you can't even crack a smile, Tama? It's times like this that you and I have to stay positive, right? Come on, for our squad. Oh, she smiled. Talker, the motivational speaker. That's the best I'm going to get from her right now. I can't expect her to snap out of it, not until this mess is resolved, anyhow. Alright, I'll check in with Meia then. Okay, Talker, hang in there. You too. Talk to you later. Alright. I doubt she'll be thrilled to talk to me, but we are on a mission. Meia. Huh? No visuals. It's still encrypted. No, it's open. Why static? Meia, hello? Broken? Is that the wind I hear? I could hear you. Why is wind in the background? What? It's time to report in. Nothing on my end. You? Nothing to report. Roger. Talk to you later then. I'm hanging up now. Forgive me, Takaru. For being so weak. What? That's all. What? Are you kidding? You call me strong, yourself weak? You've got it backwards. You haven't changed one bit. You said the same thing about Mount Tengen. You called me strong, but you're wrong. This isn't my strength. I just said I've been witness to the fall of mankind, nothing more. I'm sure anyone forced to live through what I've been through would feel the same way. Though I suppose the fact that I'm more or less impartial to this stuff, I guess that could be a factor. I don't have a pillar of strength to lean on. I can't identify as strongly with this country as she does, so it's easier to distance myself from it. Compared to her, I'm completely neutral. Actually, no. I really do see eye to eye with both the UN and the United States, but I've never given it any thought before. It's not that I don't identify with these people because I wasn't born here. Even in my world, I only took pride in being Japanese when I watched the Olympics or the World Cup or whatever. That's not patriotism. It's nowhere even near the kind of devotion that Meia feels. Our little discussion just now had made that painfully clear. Punished third positionist Takaru. What is happening? 1:47 a.m. Hmm? Huh? Wake up, Takaru. Yeah, I'm good. What's up? You got a shift in 15. Yeah, thanks for waking me. Go get a good rest, okay, Tama? You sure you're awake? Yeah, no worries. Okay, 05 Tamasi, preparing to stand by as a 202. Copy. Well, I might actually be awake, but boy, I do not feel like it. 15 till shift starts. Maybe the cold air will wake me up. Meia, Tama. What's up? Yes? I'm gonna get out for a minute and try to wake myself up. Watch me. Understood. Do not stray too far. Tamasi will be unable to take her break on time. I know, I just want to get some fresh air, that's all. I can wait a few extra minutes, don't worry. No, I won't be long. I'll let my TSF allow access to Meia's secondary control, okay? Copy. See you in a sec. My fortified suit keeps me warm, but the cold air stings against my face. It's waking me up. Wait, if all I needed was cold air to wake me up, I could have just adjusted the temperature control on my fortified suit. Oh, I guess I am groggy. Okone, huh? I haven't been there since that summer camp in elementary. I still remember how we snuck in and ate all the snacks the whole class had brought to take home to our families. Of course, the teacher caught us all and put us in detention for the rest of the day. Oh yeah, and then I bought that souvenir walking stick on a whim when we went to climb Mount Fuji. I didn't realize how dumb that was. What even happened to that thing? Boy, Sumika. I never thought I'd come back to Hakone like this. Probably 10 minutes left. Well, I might as well get a better look at the fortress. I don't even remember it being here last time. It's entirely possible it probably never even existed in my timeline. So this is what the Royal Guard risks their life to protect, eh? And it doesn't really look like much to me, but maybe we're getting a closer look at one of those pillars of strength. That was the sound of a tree branch stepping under someone's foot. Enemy? I dropped to the ground the moment I heard it, but they might have already seen me. I can't get this stupid holster to unlock. No, nothing, Burger. Am I gonna have to shoot someone here? This thing isn't even cocked. I should have done that when I left my TSF. If I do it now, will it give the sound give away my position? Maybe I should make a run for it? Since I'm in my fortified suit, even a direct hit should cause a few fractures, but they hit my head with a large caliber. They're on the move. They didn't see me, maybe? I know. I'll run with link with my Fubuki's night vision monitor. 2 unarmed civilians? In the middle of nowhere? Are they refusing to evacuate? Don't scare me like that. I've got to get them out of here. 06 Shirogane 0... Oh, why didn't I call them in the first place? I am not thinking straight. Pure inexperience. Freeze! Put your hands behind your head, turn slowly towards me. You dare point a gun at us? As I'm sure you're aware, this is a Category 1 evacuation zone. Civilian trespassing is prohibited. You two are Japanese citizens, are you? Stand back, insolent whelp. What the hell? Look, you're both going to be required to evacuate until the appropriate government authorities can be contacted. You're in our custody now. You're not an Imperial soldier. Answer me. You interrogating me? This lady's got some nerve. 06 Shirogane to the rest of Bravo team. I've been securing 2 illegal residents. 02 copy, 06 or 05 maintain sniping position. 05 copy. We still waiting on those transport vehicles? The situation has changed. The command post is taking top priority transmission. Stand by for further direction. Situation changed? Did something happen in the capital again? Sakaki and I will fall back to the command post. 05 remain as support. 05 copy. Kakeru, do not let your guard down. 06 copy. Answer me already. Whoopee. I'm on babysitting duty. That's a UN military TSF. It's not going to hurt you. The UN? Correct. We're from the United Nations, but we're in the middle of an operation right now. I can't let you in on anything more. What insolence. How dare you? Calm yourself. What? The black fortified suit proves this man is in the UN surface pilot, which means he's most likely... No forking way. No way. She's alive in this timeline. Wow. What do you know? She's actually alive in this timeline. So in Extra, she dies in a car accident. That's the whole reason as to why Maya is even able to come back into Takuru's life, is because she dies in a car accident. Or the reason she leaves Takuru. Sorry, I got that backwards. So since I guess car accidents aren't commonplace here, it looks like she is still alive. Maya. With all due respect, my lady, this man cannot be... there's no way that's Maya. I was just talking to her. No, stand down. It's alright, huh? But she sounds like her? What the hell? Takeru, watch out, huh? Well, if it isn't Shirogane Takeru. Chief Yoroi? Oh, he's got the red dot right on his noggin. What are you doing in a place like this? How did you sneak the hell right up on me like that? If all the squads that possibly could have been sent out here, you really outdone yourself this time, Kazuki. What are you talking about? Oh, that's Tama. God dang. Before I answer, it'd very much appreciate it if you could tell your friend to point the thing somewhere else. Shirogane to 05, not a threat. 05, copy. Nothing like a 36mm chain gun at point blank range to wake you up in the morning, huh? Yoroi, is this man an acquaintance of yours? Yes, his name is Shirogane. He may be a brash eccentric, but do excuse him. Please answer my question. What are you three doing in the middle of nowhere? Goodness, do you not even know who this is? What? Almost identical to Maya, very similar mannerisms. Wait. You're in the presence of Her Highness Kobin Yuhi. Show some respect. Kobin Yuhi?
日本帝国国務全権代行である征夷大将軍殿下を呼び捨てかね白金たける
You didn't really just address the all-powerful Imperial Shogun of the Japanese Empire without an honorific, did you? The Imperial Shogun? You're kidding, right? Why would the Shogun be walking around in an ordinary outfit? There's no way any ordinary Japanese person wouldn't recognize her. Excuse. I just didn't recognize her in commoner's clothes. It's to conceal her identity. How could you be so thick-headed? Oh, I see. Is it truly that strange? Not at all. It suits your highness wonderfully.
この者何分国連軍所属ですゆえお許しを
Well, the man is a UN soldier first and foremost. Please overlook his rudeness. That's fine. There are more matters to discuss, Yoroi.
そうでした白金たける前線司令部はどこだ
And you, of course, Takaru. Where are you set up HQ? Over at the old Ottawara West Interchange. Why do you ask?
指揮所
Command post? Old checkpoint station? The Shogun's here with Chief Yoroi? What is going on? I don't get it. How could the Shogun be so long? Why does she... He doesn't realize it.
恐れながら殿下どうかこの者とご一緒ください多少窮屈ではございましょうが緊急事態ゆえご容赦のほど
My apologies, Your Highness, but I must ask that you go with this man. They may not be the most comfortable accommodations, but given the state of emergency, I hope you understand. Very well. Shirogane, was it? I'm afraid I must impose upon you. Me? Yoroi, what are you
戦
thinking?
術機のコックピットなら殿下をお乗せすることは
Is there any reason why Her Highness wouldn't be able to ride in your TSF? I mean, no. Is that not dangerous, though? You're seriously going to decide something like this on the fly, and the Shogun didn't even bat an eye? Are you guys insane?
この状況で戦術機のコックピット以上に安全な場所はないと思うがね白金たけ
In this situation, I think a TSF cockpit would be about the safest plates. Wouldn't you agree? I mean, he's got a point, but if you insist. Okay, then.
殿下よろしいですか
Is that alright with you, Your Highness? I trust your
そ
judgment.
のまま横浜基地まで行かれるのがよろしいかと侍従長あなたは指揮戦闘車に
Having him escort you to Yokohama base is the best course of action. Grand Chamberlain, get the command vehicle. I understand. Listen to me, Shirogane. Protect Her Highness at all costs. Understood? Yes, ma'am. And you, Yoroi?
殿下私にはもう一仕事残っていますのでしばらくしたら失礼させて
I have one last job to take care of, Your Highness. I'm afraid I'll be taking my leave for a
殿下
while.
を頼んだぞ
Take care of her, Takaru. Chief Yoroi? Dude, you're gonna dump the freaking Shogun on me and then peace out? Are you that irresponsible? Shouldn't you give me an explanation? I'm forever in your debt. May the winds of fortune be at your
ありが
back.
とうございます
Thank you very much. I do not wish to lose yet another of my retainers. Take care.
切られた者共に進化でありますゆえ殿下の悲しみはいかばかりかと存じますが
Both the assassins and their victims were all your loyal subjects, so while I cannot begin to fathom your highness's
国
grief,
の乱れを憂う若者たちがそれを正すべくやむにやまれず立ち上がったというのがこたびの市議の真相
the fact of the matter is that these young rebels took up arms in answer to their country's woes and fought unwaveringly to right the wrongs that they had felt had been done.
誤った道を選んだにせよそのような若者たちがいる限りまだまだ
They may have
日本も捨てたものではございません
chosen the wrong path, but so long as our youth continues to fight for their beliefs, there's still yet hope.
ここで海を出し切ることで日本は再び目覚める私はそう信じております
As this little impetus allows us to weed out corruption at its source, Japan will return to its former glory, and I have every confidence in the words I just said. Will that truly come to
ご安心く
pass?
ださい殿下帝国の精神は必ずや民の心によみがえりましょ
Rest assured, Your Highness, the spirit of the Empire will rise again in our people's hearts.
うしかしながらこれ以上の騒乱は望ましくありません
That said, we cannot allow the rebels to incite further civil unrest.
直ち
Indeed.
に帝都に舞い戻り微力ながら事態の収拾に努めます
I will return to the capital at once and do what I can to bring the situation under control. I'd be most grateful.
コマンドポストより207各機警戒態勢解除これより準戦闘態勢に
Command post for all units. Our patrol assignment has ended. Prepare for battle. What?
10分ほど前 国連第11方面司令部に帝国上大将から直々に情報が入った。
10 minutes ago, UN 11th HQ received intel directly from the Imperial Shogunate. Directly from the Shogunate? Why not go through the Provisional Government, the Royal Guard?
および帝都城周辺での戦闘が激化した事態を受け、上大将は昨夜将軍殿下の帝都脱出を決定した。
After hostilities flared up around the capital, the Shogunate decided last night to evacuate Her Highness and Shogun from the capital.
帝都城地下に極秘建造された地下鉄道を使い、帝都を脱出した。
Her Highness escaped
90分前だ。
via a top-secret underground railroad dug beneath the Imperial Palace approximately 90 minutes ago. An underground
目
railroad?
的地は関東圏の鎮守府および城郭。撹乱のためのおとりも同時に何組か脱出したらしい。
Her destination was an old army base and fortress somewhere in the Kanto region. Several other groups were also evacuated at the same time as decoys. So the Imperial Palace is directly connected to a bunch of auxiliary fortresses, so that's it.
タケル、こんな話を知っているか？
Have you heard the stories about this place? Yeah, that would make sense how they were able to go ahead and get supply lines. So that's why the Royal Guard stood their ground. The forces are connected. Yep. Wow! I'm getting good. So it wasn't just an act of reckless patriotism.
30分ほど前、何者かによってこの情報がリークされた。
But 30 minutes ago, this information was unleaked by an unknown party.
現在クーデター側は各地の城へと部隊を移動させつつある。その結果、帝都での戦闘はほぼ収束した模様だ。帝国軍、近衛軍および国連軍が移動中の敵部隊を追撃している。
The rebel forces are currently sending units out to every nearby fortress, and as a result, fighting within the capital is virtually ceased. The Imperial forces, UN forces, and Royal Guard are pursuing all enemy units.
ここも戦場となる可能性が高い。前期、準戦闘態勢のまま待機。次の指示を待て。以上。
It's very likely that fighting will break out here as well. Be prepared. U00 out. Fighting breaking out here? Someone's leaked the news of your escape. Now the rebels, the IJA, the IRG, and the UN are all dispersing to check any abandoned fortresses. Just as planned. Though it wouldn't have been perfect if the rebels hadn't started fighting at the Imperial Palace. What does that mean? I was the one who leaked the information. Why would you? I gave the order to do so. What? Her Highness used herself as bait to prevent exposing the people of the capital to further bloodshed. What do you mean? Yeah, exactly. If everyone's out looking for her, then no one's going to be left to fight over the capital. Simple as. Her Highness informed only her closest advisors in the capital of the Royal Guard of her own intent, and then she made the decision to escape all of her own. Those are the only people she told, so the Shogunate doesn't know, but wasn't it the Shogunate that sent word to the UN HQ? When they learned of Her Highness's escape, I'd imagine the Shogunate's top brass was in a state of panic and did so in an attempt to save face. Save face? You think any sane government official would allow Her Highness to flee the capital without armed escort? That makes sense. She must really care about the people of the capital. She came all the way here without even telling the Shogun. But, oh wait, is my mic off or not? Okay, I think we're up. But wait, in that case, couldn't Her Highness have just ordered them to stop fighting though? Yes, and she did. Then why didn't they stop? Aren't they all fully devoted to her? You still haven't learned to think for yourself, have you? The fact that she's obligated to give orders like that is the entire reason for the uprising. What? Are you trying to say the rebel forces are in the right here? If the system's that bad, why don't you fix it? Ever since the Prime Minister's assassination, the provisional government and the Shogunate had been petitioning Her Highness non-stop, calling for suppression of the insurgents. Yeah, with the Prime Minister gone. Exactly, they're screwed. She reportedly ordered them to avoid open conflict until the very end, but the provisional government and the IJA still planned a counter-offensive and brought in the UN forces to help. Ultimately, Her Highness decided to use herself as bait to lure all the armed forces into unpopulated areas before the fighting in the capital got any worse.
どうしても日本で内戦を起こしたい連中がいるようでね。
However, it appears that some people really are trying to start a civil war. The
そ
Americans?
の意を組む者が決起部隊の中に紛れ込んでいたらしい。
And it seems like some of their sympathizers worked that way into the rebel forces. Is he talking about the soldier that opened fire on the Royal Guard, which caused the fighting to break out?
白金武
Do you follow me now, Takaru? Yes, sir. In that case, we need to get ourselves and the Shogun out of here as soon as possible.
天下を横浜基地にお連れするのだ。
Now go, take her to Yokohama. Chief,
なんだね。
what is it? You know that there are U.S. troops stationed there. Are you sure you'll be safe?
そのために私は行くのだ。
That's what I'm going to ensure. I see.
私と侍従長はまず旧関所の指揮所へ行く。早く連絡を。
The Chamberlain and I will head for the command post at the old checkpoint station. Let them know we're coming. Understood.
それでは殿下。
Until next time, Your
どうか
Highness.
ご無事で。
Take care of yourself.
たちも気をつけて。
You take care as well, both of you. 06, you are gone into command post. 06, you are gone into command post. Requesting top priority connection.
コマンドポストより丸6、既得回線の使用を許可する。報告せよ。
Permission granted. Give your report. I've identified the 3 individuals I secured earlier.
身元判明？どういうことだ？
Identified them? What do you mean? I can now confirm that they are Her Highness Koben Yuhi, the Chamberlain, and Chief Yoroi from the Ministry Imperial of Intelligence.
なんだって？殿下がたったそれだけの警
Her Highness is here with only 2 attendants for protection. She knew I'd found some trespassers, and she knew that the Shogun had fled the capital, but I guess that wasn't enough to make the connection. Of course it wasn't. Who'd expect the Shogun to wander around without a proper escort? They use their own expectations as a form of camouflage. Chief Yoroi and her Chamberlain are headed to your position now, requesting further details when they arrive.
殿下はどうされたのだ？
Roger and Her Highness. Chief Yoroi suggested that the TSF cockpit would be the safest place. She's going to be riding with me in 06.
なるほど。操縦技術に優れる貴様が操る機体であれば、なおさらだな。
That would make sense, especially given your exceptional pilot skills.
あくまで緊急措置だ。既得回線の使用を終わる。
Very well. I'll authorize it as an emergency measure. Closing encrypted channel. Copy.
コマンドポストから207各機、丸6を中心にサークル1で全周警戒。別名を待て。
Command post to 207. Form a circle 1 formation around 06. Keep a lookout in all directions and wait further orders. Talk about an insane turn of events. Okay, Your Highness, come right this way.
世話になります。
Very well, I'll follow your lead. I'm probably not being nearly as polite as I should be, am I?
こちら604機、現在交戦中。急増援を。
This is 604C. We're engaging the enemy. We need backup. They're using the same models as us. Why are they so much stronger?
生徒の守りを預かる我ら精鋭の力。
Dang, they're smoking.
ビルな。
Don't underestimate the Capitol Guard Regiment. The sounds are getting close. They're on our tail. Right this way, please. Sorry about us. We don't have a choice.
無理を強いているのは私。そなたは気をつける必要があります。
I'm the one imposing here. Please do not concern yourself with me. Okay. What a surprise that was. I can't believe Tsukiyomi of all people was okay with the Shogun being with me. I guess she figured it would be easier for her to focus on piloting, enabling her to better protect the Shogun. But even so, I don't think she's thrilled. She was pretty adamant about Japanese sovereignty. I'm sure what she really wants is for Her Highness to be handed over to the Royal Guard, the UN to back off entirely. Of course, considering how much she cares about Maya, I doubt she'd actually say such a thing. It would be completely disregarding her feelings, and I bet Maya's feeling pretty conflicted herself. She was worried sick from the start, and now that the Shogun's right here with us, those feelings must be even more intense. That might sound contradictory, but human emotions aren't exactly the most logical. I'm sure she can't help but wish that she'd been the one who bumped into the Shogun instead. I can't believe I was right about all this being one of Yuko's plans. We weren't deployed because it was safe. It's the total opposite. Sensei predicted this. In other words, she must have known how the Royal Guard managed to survive for here on month's end, and with that in mind probably worked out the odds of Her Highness coming here high. I mean, yeah, pretty much every one of us in this squad is connected to the incident in one way or another. In a sense, it couldn't be more ideal. But we are just cadets, reckless. She couldn't possibly know how Ayamine relates, though, right? I guess I could see her potentially knowing about her dad's relationship with Sagri, but I doubt she knows anything beyond.
どうかしたのですか？
Is something wrong? Oh, no, sorry. Come on, stay focused. Not the time to be lost in thought. Everyone's counting on me to take care of her, and I've got to stay alert. So this is the safety jacket. Make sure the belt's secure.
この4点式ハーネスを使うの
The
です。
4-point harness. Yeah, you should also take these before we take these off. Or take these on. What are these? It's a drug to prevent nausea. It's a bumpy ride, so It's meant for rookies, but I can't say how effective it'll be in actual combat. It's going to be a lot shakier. Still, it's got to be better than nothing. All the others said it helped them too.
スコポラミン加速度病対策ですね。揺れは覚悟します。
Scopolamine, yes, an anti-medic. I believe I can handle the shaking though. She recognizes it by name? She knows her stuff.
コマンドポストより207各機状況を説明する。
Command post to 207, I got a sit rep for you. Sorry, we're about to be briefed. I'll have to be quiet, okay?
白胸私にも聞こえるようにしてください。
Can you set it so I could hear? Is that really a good
状
idea?
況の推移を知っておきたいのです。
Please, I would like to know what's happening. I can't exactly refuse an order from the Imperial Commander-in-Chief, can I? I can just turn it back off when the operation begins. Understood, though. Without a headset, you only get the audio.
構いません。
That's fine.
10分ほど前、帝国厚木基地からの通信が途絶。続いて、小田原西インターチェンジ後の前線司令部も沈黙した。
10 minutes ago, we lost all contact with the Imperial forces at Atsugi base. We're getting radio silence from our HQ over at the old Ottawa exchange as well.
すでに明神ヶ岳30では帝国軍部隊が敵と交戦中。
IJ have already engaged the enemy at Mount Miyojingatake. That's only 2 mountains away. What kind of unit of measurement is that?
高速自動車道跡と小田原厚木道路跡の二手に分かれ進撃中だ。
The main enemy force is split into 2 groups, the advancing along the Tokyo-Nagoya Expressway and the other along the Odawa-Atsugi Highway.
東名を進撃中の敵部隊を E1、小田原厚木道路跡の敵部隊を E2。
From here on out, these will be E1 and E2.
では、脱出経路の説明に入る。我々はまず熱海新道跡から伊豆スカイライン跡に入り南下する。
Regarding our escape route, we will move south of what remains along New Atami Road before proceeding along the Aizu skyline. That's our only real option. If we headed straight for Yokohama base, we'd run right into the enemy's main force. But how do we plan on getting
お
away?
そらく E1 は我々の精神を阻むため、芦ノ湖スカイライン跡から旧三島市に
A1 will most likely take the Ashinoko skyline through Old Mishima City in an attempt to block us from turning west.
それと同時に我々の転進を阻むための部隊が E2 から分離し、伊豆スカイライン跡に沿って追撃してくることが予想される。
At the same time, we should expect a 3rd unit to break out from E2 and pursue us down the Aizu skyline to prevent our retreat. We call this E3.
E2 は国道135号線跡を南下、そのまま海岸線に向かい、その確保を図る可能性が高いだろう。
E2 proper will most likely continue down south the National Highway 135 to secure coast. So we'll have units to our left, our right, and directly behind us, but the UN controls the sea. How are they going to control the shoreline? They have to know they're going to get bombarded. Do they have a plan to prevent it?
我々はさらに南下を続けるが、この段階で想定通り
We will continue to head south, but if E3 appears according to our
途
predictions,
中合流するアメリカ軍戦術機構大隊が陽動を兼ねて迎撃する。
the US 108 Tactical Armored Battalion, which we plan to join up with along the way, will create a
これ
diversion.
により E1 は旧三島市から旧中伊豆町に向け E2 と連携。我々を包囲、攻撃しようとするはずだ。
At this point, E1 should leave Old Mishima City, head through Old Nakazu City, and then coordinate with E2 and attempt to surround us. That's a lengthy detour, but it's primarily urban. They'll be able to cover a lot more ground. Are they going to catch up to us then?
家川料金所跡が敵にとっての最重要ポイントになる。見ろ、ここは山間部が一番狭くなる。
The Haikawa toll booth will be the choke point. Look on your map. See where the pass comes to a
我
bottleneck?
々の頭を抑えられるのはこのポイント以外にない。
If the enemy were to pin us, it's the only chance they would. This is the only chance they would have.
この作戦は成功したも同然だ。
But if we can make it before they get there, the operation will be assuredly a
我々は
success.
東笠山付近で山間部に入り、そのまま旧下田市に抜ける予定だ。敵も山岳部に入って速度が落ちればよし、入らずに並走するならばそれもよし。
The plan is to head into the mountains near Mount Togosa and follow them all the way down to Old Shimoda City, and at that point it won't matter whether they chose to cross over and pursue us through the mountainous terrain or maintain their speed and continue along the
この
outskirts.
頃には国連横須賀基地の第209戦術機構大隊が旧下田市内に上陸し、
By then we'll already have the 209 Tactical Armored Battalion from the UN's Yokosuba base lying in wait at the Old Shimoda City. I know we're being forced to plan all this on the fly, but is this not too optimistic? If we can't make it there through the pass, before we get there, we're going to be
我
surrounded.
々は白浜海岸
True.
で横浜基地所属の第11艦隊と合流。海路にて横浜基地へ帰還する。
We will then return with the 11th Fleet from Yokohama at Shirahama Coast, then return home by
な
sea.
お、本作戦においては支援砲撃やエアカバーは一切期待できない。
However,
規模ながらも各地の
do not expect any naval bombardments or air cover during the operation.
睨み合いが続いている。
There are numerous small-scale battles still in progress throughout the area. As long as we've got the Shogun, I doubt they'll come at us with guns blazing. Though, after that stuff Chief Yoroi said earlier, I couldn't be so sure. The situation seems dire. If only I could have prevented this. Don't say that. It's gonna be okay.
進撃フォーメーションは丸6を中心にアローヘッド3だ。両側面と後方を厚く取る。さらにこの絵第19独立小隊がハンマーヘッド1で後方を固めてくれる。
Tic tags. We'll proceed south in an arrowhead 3 formation with O6 at the center, with the others guarding his sides and rear. The Royal Guard's independent flight will follow in Hammerhead 1 to the rear. 19th independent flight?
臨時政府が国連軍受け入れに対し提示した絶対条件は殿下の安全な保護だ。
The provisional government has accepted UN military aid, but only on the condition that we ensure the Highness's
つ
return.
まり本作戦の最優先目標は公務員殿下を無事に横浜基地にお連れすることである。
That means our primary objective is to deliver Her Highness to us safely to
したがって
Yokohama.
丸6の安全を最優先とする。なお、支援車両部隊は撹乱任務のため熱海峠から135号線に向かう。
As such, 06 safety takes spot priority. We'll also be sending artillery support from Atami Pass out of Highway 135 as distraction. Distraction? They'll stand a better chance in urban terrain in the mountains, but as bait?
白金、
Shirogane, ma'am.
貴様はどんな犠牲を払ってでも必ず殿下を横浜基地へお送りするのだ。いいな。
I don't care what sacrifices must be made, but you will get Her Highness to Yokohama. Do you hear me? Affirmative.
この任務に携わることは国連軍の兵士であり、日本人でもある我々にとって
As both UN soldiers and Japanese citizens, to take part in this mission is an honor seconded to none.
各自の奮闘に期待する。以上。
I expect nothing but the best. 00 out. The entire debacle might be the only happening because I changed the future. But I'm not going to let some single setback trip me up. There's no stopping me. This is not where we die. We'll be fine. We're going to make it through this.
本当に
Always Sunny in Philadelphia theme starts. I am truly sorry for causing you trouble. We're going to make it to Yokohama base. Don't you worry. We're going to live. Once this is over, we'll go back for those equations and we'll save this world and I'll go back home. I'm doubting this. I'm doubting this. This game hasn't gotten bad yet. 207 move out. But it's got to. It's definitely got to.
丸ごたませ離れすぎよ。
You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and end it here tonight. I want the actual first fight, provided that there is gonna be a first fight. I kind of want the whole heart rate monitor set up just to see if it's as cool as what many have suggested that this is going to be, especially from chapters 7 to 10. And we're at the end of 6 right now, if my math is right with how long each chapters are. So I'm going to go ahead and leave our first real mission here for tomorrow. And it'd be kind of cool to have that heart rate monitor on. Thank you guys so much for joining in tonight. I hope you guys have enjoyed my little twofer with my 16 reaction on top of some little bit of Muv-Luv tonight. I'll see you back here tomorrow with this new and improved heart rate monitor, and we can see just how crazy the apparent craziest ride in VN history goes. See you guys tomorrow, and thank you again.